that God will think upon us that we perish not. Why don't you call on your God? Why don't you call on your mighty one so that we can get some help? Yeah. We all called on ours, and obviously did nothing happen. But you are out here asleep as if nothing is going on. Israel, you sleep and the whole world is being destroyed. You sleep and you won't do nothing. You sleep and you will not cry loud and spare not and lift up your voice like a trumpet in Zion. I'm trying to give y'all a whole new commission from the Father. He's telling y'all, Jonah, I gave you the word what to do. Jonah went the opposite direction. Look at what happened. Come on.
They said, everyone to his fellow, come, let us cast lots, that we may know for whose cause this evil is upon us.
Ain't these men they got some wisdom. Yes. They said this could have not came upon us for nothing, because this was not something that we saw that was going to happen to us. So they casted lots, and the lot fell on who? Jonah. So all these other nations of people, they all died. Look at the lot, and it all fell on Jonah, the one that was down there sleeping. Now look at what they about to, because at this time in history, the Hebrew Israelites were known. They were infamous all over the world. Everybody knew who the Hebrew Israelites were. His fame went about everywhere when he delivered them out of Egypt. So everybody knew who the Israelites were. The Hebrews were. Watch. So the lot then fell on Jonah. Watch the questions that they asked. Watch. This is another nation of people. Come on.
They said, unto him, tell us, we pray thee, whose cause this evil is upon us? What is thine occupation?
They wanted to know his occupation. What else?
And whence comest thou?
Where you come from. Come on.
What is thy country?
What is thy country?
And what people art thou?
And what kind of people you are. Did anything say, what color are you?
No.
So obviously, color wasn't the issue. They wanted to know what is occupation. What do you do for a living? Where you come from? What is the country that you represent? Where you come from? And then, what people are you? Are you a Canaanite, a Hittite, an Amorite, a Moabite, a Philistine? Now look at what he said. A Daolite. I like that. A Daolite? What are you? Look at what he said. And he said unto them,
I am a Hebrew.
Shut the door. We know now. We know. I am a Hebrew. Come on. And he said what?
For the Lord.
And he fears Yah. Come on.
God of heaven.
The God of heaven.
Which hath made the sea and the dry ground.
Which made the sea and the dry ground. So did he say, I'm a black man?
No.
Did it have anything to do with color? No. It had everything to do with what nation he came from. What people group are you? And he said, I am a what?
Hebrew.
No, he said, I'm a Christian.
Hebrew.
I'm a Moor.
Hebrew.
I'm a Muslim.
Hebrew.
I'm a Baptist.
Hebrew.
I'm a Pentecostal.
Hebrew.
I'm a Lutheran.
Hebrew.
He said, I am a Hebrew. Now, watch what happens after he said, I'm a Hebrew, and I feel the Elohim of heaven and the sea and the dry land. Come on, what did it say?
Then were the men exceedingly afraid.
All of a sudden, the men got afraid. What would make a man be afraid because you say that you're a Hebrew? Because if you say you're a Hebrew now, people won't get afraid. Because they have lost the fear of Yah. Because the Hebrews are not in power. They ain't running nothing. The Hebrews ain't. What's a Hebrew? I remember I told that to a man in the train station. You know what he did? You are so funny, man. I love you, man. You're so funny. You're not a Hebrew, Israelite. You're not that. Those are the people that's over there in the land of Jerusalem, man. Everybody knows that. You are so funny, John. You're so funny, man. I said, okay, keep on laughing. Then were the men exceedingly afraid, and they said unto him,
Why hast thou done this?
Why have you done this? Why have you allowed all of this water way? You done brought your Elohim. We ain't did nothing to you. We was just going to Tarshish and taking some ships, some wares and some things and just trying to get to where we were. Why would you do this to us, man? Do you see the power of the Hebrews? Yeah. We're able to come in a place on a ship and the whole atmosphere just started changing. Are y'all hear what's going on? The whole place got tore up because a Hebrew was on board. And the father, he was showing Jonah, ain't no way you going to get away from my presence. They said, why have you done this? Come on.
The men knew that he fled from the
That men automatically knew. They said, you must have fled from the one who got y'all out of Egypt. You must have fled from the presence of Yah. And he's letting you know his presence is everywhere, even on this water. Because he told them. He told them what he did. I'm getting on this boat. I came here. I did this to you because I'm trying to get away from the presence of Yah. And I was like, oh my God, this is why we're having so much trouble. How many people know that's what the cry of the world is? This is why the world is in the shape that it's in. I just explained it to you. The reason why the world is the way it is because the Hebrews are asleep. And they're going in the opposite direction of where the Father wants them to go. And the moment they turn and repent and begin to turn back to Yah, that's when they're going to begin, the world is going to begin to change. I'm telling you, we were in Israel, and they said, man, you know what? These flowers in this mountain, on this hill, this little greenery we see, it wasn't here before 50 years ago. But as we keep coming back to this land, well, more and more greenery begins to show up because it's responding. We are connected to a land. Hallelujah. And I'm telling you, when I was on that plane, I cut my hand. But I was in the air over the land of Israel, and I looked at my hand, and all of a sudden my hand, the cut in my hand was gone. It had been completely healed and brought back to. Are y'all hearing this? I wasn't even on the ground. I was in the air over the land. See, that's why we got to go take a trip. To get all of y'all connected back to the Yahweh of Israel. And once you get it connected, the first week that I came back, all of y'all was crying. We was on there playing the keyboard, and everybody in the house was crying. And I opened my eyes and said, did I bring heaven back with me? What happened? What was imparted to me there? What took place? Are y'all hearing this? Yes. So he fled from the presence of Yah, and he told the men, this is what's going on. This is what's happening. Watch this. Come on.
Then said they unto him, what shall we do unto thee?
What shall we do unto thee? You brought all this trouble. What are we going to do? What is the remedy? How are we going to fix the trouble we're in? That's what the world's saying. What are we going to do with these Hebrews? What are we going to do with these Hebrews? We don't have the answer. What are we going to do with them? Come on.
That the sea may be calm unto us.
All they want is calm, a sea to be calm. Ain't that the cry of the world? Ain't that the cry of the world? What are we going to do to make everything calm? What are we going to do to have peace? And guess what they were asking? They weren't asking anybody. They were asking a what? A Hebrew. Because the Hebrew, the reason they took the Apocrypha out, in between the New Testament, Matthew, and the Old Testament, Malachi, was 365, 390 years. Some places say 400 years. When they turned the Hebrew thought down and they brought up the Greek and Roman thought and made that on top. So they had 300 some odd years or so in between that time period to get the world topsy-turvy and upside down. They buried the Hebrew thought because the Hebrew thought was the thing that was able to dominate and lead. Now we have this Greek, Roman, and American mindset and culture that's dominating and penetrating the entire world. And in between Malachi and the book of Matthew, you see that gap space in between there. And we know because we can go get the books of Apocrypha and see what they did to the Israelites. They took the laws, the statutes, and judgments, the mindset. See, it's one thing to speak Hebrew, but it's another thing to think like a Hebrew. I can think like a Hebrew, even though I may not be able to speak the language. Because it's in the DNA. It's already in us. us.
Say it again, preacher.
It's already in us. Because we're the people of the book. Haven't you always wondered, like, man, why are these group of people, this other nation of people, why they think that way about that? Right. But I see it a completely different way. And if you was just left alone, right, you probably could fix it.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, boy. Preach this thing.
You probably could, if they left you alone, you probably could say, oh, this is the problem. This is the reason why. Because we're very observant people. Yes. We're discerning people. Yes. We know what the issue is in the world. We probably can solve it overnight. Yes. But the wrong people are in charge. Right. So our opinion and what we say, it don't matter because we're not in the place of authority. Yes. They were asking, how can we make the waters of this sea, the entire ocean, how can we make it calm? Mm-hmm. And they came to they were asking the Hebrew, what can we do? Look at the solution that the Hebrew gave them. Come on.
For the sea wrought and was temptations.
Tempest, come on.
And he said unto them, take me up and cast me forth into the sea.
Take me up, come on.
And cast me forth into the sea.
And cast me forth into the sea.
So shall the sea be calm unto you.
In other words, get me off of this boat. Take me up and throw me over. See, and we don't want to do that. Because now we're like, this is a Hebrew. This is an anointed vessel of Yah. If we take him up and cast him over, man, is he going to come and get us? Watch this. I'm about to show you. For I know that for my sake, this great tempest is appointed. He knew without a shadow. The reason why the world is in the shape it's in is because of the Hebrews, period. Because we were wicked, our ancestors was wicked, we learned wickedness, and we will not return to build our own world. We won't do it. We refuse to build what the Father has equipped us and made us capable of building. John said he saw it in Revelation. I saw a new heaven and a new earth coming out of the Shemaim, coming out of the heaven, coming out of the mind of the people of Yah. He said out of the mind, out of the Shemaim, it was coming down. It was coming down like a bride talking about it. It was coming down. How's it going to get here? He told Moses to build a tabernacle and build it according to the patterns. He's always used people to build or to create. Because he already did it in the beginning. Remember we talked about Bereshit? Genesis is not the beginning, but it's a what? A beginning. Y'all hearing this? So why is he going to do it any differently? He let the children of Israel build, then he let them build another tabernacle of David. Then he had David prepare all the wood and stuff that was going to go into Solomon's temple. He's always used his people to do that. Why did he fill you with the Holy Spirit anyway if you expected him to do everything? That's another question. Why did he fill you with the Spirit and say that you were chosen to do something if you're waiting on him to do it? Because I had this conversation with somebody. I said, why did he fill you? Hold it. You mean to tell me you're sitting there waiting? I thought the Father was going to do all of this. I thought he was going to make the new heaven and the new earth. I thought he was going to do it. If he has to do it, why did he need you? Don't that make sense?
Yes.
If he's going to do everything, then why does he need you? He needs you just to sit and just look and say, oh, that's cool. Yeah, bring it on. Bring it right here. No, that's over too. No, over a little bit. Bring it. Okay, lay it down. Bring it down. Whoa, I'm the first one in the gate, and you ain't did nothing. So, in other words, they heard what he was saying, but they were still trying to say, no, we don't want to do that. Because you done told you a Hebrew, the God, the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and he's here on the sea. No, we don't want to touch you. Watch this.
But they cannot, for the sea wrought and was temptations against them.
They couldn't do it. They couldn't get out of the grips of what the Father had them in, where it was going back. They couldn't pull them. They couldn't row hard enough to get themselves out of what Jonah had, the condition that he put them in. See, the world is trying to get out of this financial crisis. We've been feeling it ever since 2008, and they wrong. Come on, get them. get out of this situation. Oh, we give a bailout to the banks. We'll do this. We'll cut interest rates. I want y'all to see what's going on. Globally, we'll stop doing this. We'll try to do this. We'll give away food stamps all over. We'll try to get the economy going. We'll give everybody a little package. Extra tax money. Maybe they're spending. They're trying to roll out of the situation, of the financial situation, out of the religious situation. Everybody trying to roll and find a way out because they feel the wave and the roaring of this sea is billowing.
Yes.
But the solution is the people that's on the boat.
Right.
It's the Hebrews. Once they get off of this ship,
Come on.
and be thrown back to where they was at, then all of a sudden they can actually start having some solutions because now they're building their own world. They're building the world that the Most High Yah wanted all the way in the beginning in the first place. But we've been scattered in our minds and we've been scattered physically. Y'all hearing that?
Yes.
Come on, Brother Tyrone, read this for me.
Wherefore they cried unto the Lord and said, We beseech thee, O Lord, we beseech thee, let us not perish for this man's life.
So that's a good thing they praying at. Let us not perish for this man's life. Come on.
And lay not upon us innocent blood.
So in other words, when they throw him overboard and he may die, that's how they thinking. Don't lay that to our charge, Father. But this is what he's saying, that the only solution is, and we believe the Hebrew, because we know the Hebrews, they got all the answers, because they have Yah even not in their mouth when they call upon him. Has there ever been a nation that heard his voice? All of those scriptures in Deuteronomy, they know that this Hebrew is telling the truth. Come on.
For thou, Lord, hast done as it pleased thee.
So we about to do something, Father. Don't let us perish for him. And don't put this innocent man's blood on our hand. But we're going to throw this joker overboard so quick because we can't get out of this trouble we're in. And if that's the only solution, is to take them up and to throw them overboard. See, and that's what it looks like when you talk about leaving the country. You look like everybody throwing you under the bus, out of the. How am I going to live? How am I going to survive? How am I going to work? See, we got slavery in our mind. That's all slave. That's not a slave thing. Who going to get my food? You are.
Right.
How am I going to work? You are. You going to figure that out? Where am I going to live?
My Social Security check.
Where's my Social Security check? Where's my fishes and where's my loaves?
Right.
But didn't Abraham leave where he was to go to a place where he didn't know where he was going? And he ended up being in the place. And then he was a stranger in the place that belonged to him. And he had to live as a stranger in a place that was really his. But see, you say you got faith, but then when we test your faith, then we find out you really ain't got no faith. We want to beg and plead for a white man to give us every little thing. Where can I get citizenship there? Who told you you needed citizenship papers? See, they gave us papers in slavery. And you had to show the papers when you was out on them back roads in Mississippi. You didn't have the right papers. Show me your freedom papers. Give me your papers and show me that you're free, that you're out doing some work for your master. Let me ask you, when the pilgrims came here, did they have citizenship?
No, they did not.
Was they looking for the people that was on this land that they called Indians? But the Indians didn't call themselves that. But did they ask for citizenship papers from them?
No.
And all the indigenous people that was on the land? Can we get some kind of citizenship? Can we please get... They ended up what? Taking it. The kingdom of Yah suffered violence, but the violent take it by what? By force. And then the scripture says it's not going to be done by might, neither by power, but by my spirit, says Yah. So am I telling you to physically take something, shot, shoot? We ain't talking about that. This is, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against what? Principalities, powers, rulers of darkness over this present wickedness in high places in this present work. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with that. We're dealing with, this is a spiritual thing. But if we ain't ready to fight the adversary in our spirit, then guess what? Ain't nothing going to happen. Ain't nothing going to change. If we're not willing to get up and do something, that's going to mean anything for the next generation. We ain't willing to do that, you might as well forget it. Jonah said, throw me overboard because I know what's going on. Listen to the confidence of that. Just throw me overboard, man. He gonna catch me because obviously I can't get away. I'm all the way out here on the doggone ocean and he done found me. And he got y'all all this, man, just throw me in the water. Let me see. I guarantee I'm gonna still be alive after you throw me. Just throw me in the water. Throw me in the water. You see that? Let's see if we can go to the bottom of the sea and see if the Father ain't gonna get him. Look at what happened though. After they prayed that, come on.
So they took up Jonah.
Come on.
And cast him forth into the sea, and the sea ceased from her raging.
Ain't that? They threw him in the sea, and all of a sudden, just as he had said, everything got calm in their world. Everything settled down in their world. Everything was relaxed in their world. But where's Jonah? He in the sea. Y'all never heard the story of Jonah like this, have you?
No.
But y'all heard it preached before, ain't you?
Yes.
But you ain't heard it preached like this, have you? Come on, read.
Then the men feared the Lord exceedingly and offered a sacrifice unto the Lord and made vows.
Ain't that they said, man, we're gonna offer up something to man, please take, because they were scared. They didn't know if he was gonna come back and smite the ship or whatever. They said, man, we might as well make some vows too. Come on.
And the Lord had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah.
So he already knew, Jonah knew that, hey, throw me overboard because obviously I cannot get away from the presence of Yah. So just throw me overboard. And the Most High had already prepared a great fish. So I guess it wasn't a whale.
Right. It was a fish.
It was a great fish to swallow up. This was something, this was a special kind of fish. It was a great fish to swallow up Jonah. This was a different, that the Father made. Made something especially for Jonah. So I'm telling y'all, don't be throwing yourself in the sea thinking that there's a special fish made for you. This was for Jonah here. Okay? Come on.
And Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights.
He was in the belly of this fish 3 days and 3 nights. Maybe it wasn't a fish at all. Maybe it was something else. But it was something that he was able to survive.
Yes.
And he was able to pray while he was in. So obviously it couldn't have been a fish that got all kind of water going through it and all that. It had to be something else.
Yes.
Because Jonah prayed while he was in the belly of the fish. So if he's praying, that requires him to speak, don't it?
Yes.
So I guess he ain't drowning then. Now, when fish go in the water, have y'all did research? When fish or something goes in the water, is water going throughout their body?
No.
So we need to go look that up, right? And then we're going to find out if water's going through a fish body or a whale body when they're underwater. I think it is. I think it is. But if it's not, then that means there had to be something special. Bible always says he prepared a great fish to swallow him up, so that he can breathe and survive and live and pray and repent while he was in the belly of that fish. See? So you have to be able to look beyond this. See, remember I told y'all there's a knowledge that everybody has, and there's a knowledge that some people have, and then there's a knowledge that only just a few people got. The insight of really what it's saying. Okay? So I'm tapping y'all into a little of that. So Jonah prayed. Then Jonah, come on.
Then Jonah prayed unto the Lord his God out of the fish's belly.
He prayed. All right? Come on. Now, it'd be different if he's praying in his mind. He probably would have said, and in his mind he prayed, but he said, and he said, what did he say?
And he said, I cried by reason of mine affliction unto the Lord, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, and thou heardest my voice.
So I guess he was in hell.
Yeah, that's what he said.
So did Jonah die? You see? Other questions start coming when you start analyzing what's going on. When he got in that sea, he may have thought he was in a fish, but he ended up really in hell. And he was crying out to the Father. And he said he heard his voice from the belly of hell. And he said, the only reason I'm crying was because of my affliction. Ain't just that's one-on-one Israelites. You only cry when you're being afflicted. When you get in trouble, boy, you really go, oh, I need a prayer. Pastor ain't answering the phone. The sisters ain't there to pray. I need somebody to touch and agree. So he said, by reason of my affliction unto Yah, that's why he's crying out to the Father. Ain't that us?
Yeah.
We almost finished. Come on.
For thou hast cast me into the deep and into the midst of the seas.
So he cast them into the deep. Jonah ain't talking about no fish, is it?
No.
He said, you cast me into the deep, in the midst of the seas. Come on.
And the floods compass me about.
Come on.
All thy billows and thy waves passed over me.
What does that sound like to y'all?
The water, right? Yeah.
Y'all hear what's going on here? Come on.
Then I said, I am cast out of thy sight, yet I will look again toward thy holy temple.
So he's declaring that I've been cast out, but I'm going to see that holy temple again. Watch this.
The waters compass me about, even unto the soul. The depth closed around me about. The weeds were wrapped around about my head.
That don't sound like a good story, does it? He said, man, this water can pass me about even to the soul. The depths closed me round about, and the weeds were wrapped about my head. So what's going on really with Jonah? I thought it was a fish that he prepared for. Woo-wee. This is something else. Was this all in the belly of hell? Come on.
I went down to the bottoms of the mountains.
Now he went down to the bottom of mountains. So that lets you know other civilizations under the sea. That's been buried under the sea. The reason we don't know them and see them is because we can't go under the sea. We ain't going down that deep. But they say that now. They can go through the bottom of the sea and they see pyramids down there. They see other things down there. And I told you that a lot of those things are going to begin to rise up when this great earthquake begins to happen and come back again. There's going to be some rising of some land. There's going to be the lands that's in the depths of the sea are coming to the top again. And all of the secrets that landmass had is coming up with it. And they're going to have to explain, where did that come from? Because remember, the world was all one body of land. There was no such thing as an Atlantic Ocean. You could walk from what they would call Africa now, all the way over to what they call America now. It was one landmass. And then an earthquake came and separated these lands and made them have this water all in between. But in the beginning, the Bible says that the land, he called forth the dry land to appear, and it came forth. And he put the waters in their boundaries around the land mass. But as the world got corrupt and sin began to abound, something happened with the earthquake where land mass began to separate from one another. And the water came in and reclaimed the land. Okay? If you go look at a map, even now, you can see that if you took the land mass, if you pushed them together, they all fit like a puzzle and come right back. Okay, so I'm not saying nothing crazy, Emma. All right. So he said, I went down to the bottom of the mountain. This is what Jonah said. He said, I went down to the bottom of the mountain. The earth was with her bars. The earth with her bars was about me forever. Come on.
Yet hast thou brought up my life from corruption, O Lord my God.
Sound like he brought him back to life. Come on.
When my soul fainted within me, I remembered the Lord.
When my soul fainted within me. Y'all hearing it? What's going on in the book of Jonah? Jonah's off the chain, ain't it? Come on. My soul fainted within me. Come on.
I remember the Lord, and my prayer came in unto me, unto thy holy temple.
So man, he's praying and he's look like he ain't around no more. The Bible did say to Cain, he said, Cain, I keep hearing your brother's blood crying out to me from the earth. Because Abel did righteousness. Cain did wickedly. So the Bible says the wages of sin is death. So if the wages of doing sin is death, what is the wages of doing righteous? So how could Abel die? You hear what I'm saying? Just thoughts to think about. All right? Come on.
They that observe lying vanities forsake thine own mercy.
What a point. They that observe lying vanities forsake their own mercy. So why in the world would you want to even listen to something that's vanity? Because when you listen and observe, which means to do, things that are vain, that have no merit to them, when you observe to do those things and practice those things, you forsake your own mercy. Powerful statement. Come on, what did he say?
But I will sacrifice unto thee with the voice of thanksgiving.
But I'm going to sacrifice with the voice of thanksgiving. Come on.
I will pay that I have vowed. Salvation is of thee.
So in other words, the only way I'm going to get out of this is I'm going to have to do what you told me to do in the beginning. Because salvation, which is deliverance, is of Yah. Now, who don't want to be delivered? When he's flat out telling you deliverance is of Yah. Almost through. Come on.
And the Lord spake unto the fish, and it vomited out Jonah upon the dry land.
Now, maybe he did get swallowed by a fish. But he has no recollection of, he just telling you, describing his area, the place where he was. And he said he was crying from the belly of hell. So the Father spoke to the fish, it vomited out Jonah upon the dry land. All of a sudden, he ended up on dry land. This is Jonah's message now. Come on. Because the book of Jonah, it ends abruptly. It ends with a question. It ends like if there's more. That's how you know they took our books and did something to them. Now, why would he end with a question, but the question's never going to be answered? You see? Come on, what it say?
And the word of the Lord came unto Jonah the second time.
So now it's coming the second time. What does it say?
Arise, go unto Nineveh, that great city, and preach unto it the preaching that I bid thee.
So this lets me know when people say they hear from the Father, and the Father is saying this one day, and saying that one day, and telling you to go over there and telling you, and you ain't never did not even the first thing he told you to do, but the Father keeps jumping and slipping and telling you this, and the Father ain't confused. You the one confused. Okay. The Father ain't speaking to you and giving you all these instructions when you ain't did the first instruction. I told you, the Father told me to stop playing for churches. And that was the only word he spoke until I did that. And once I obeyed that, then he can go with the next instruction. And he hasn't spoken the next instruction. You see? Stop playing for churches. And then I've been asking, talking to him all this time. So then he's going to tell me another instruction. And then I'm going to have to follow that.
Yes.
Y'all hear that? Yes. So he said, arise and go to Nineveh, the great city, and preach unto it the preaching that I bid thee the first time. Come on.
So Jonah arose.
So now Jonah arose. Come on.
And went unto Nineveh according to the word of the Lord. Now Nineveh was an exceeding great city of 3 days' journey.
Come on.
And Jonah began to enter into the city a day's journey, and he cried.
So it took Jonah 1 day to do something that took 3 days. See that again, make sure. Come on.
Now Nineveh was an exceedingly great city of 3 days' journey.
It's 3 days' journey. But look at what it said.
And Jonah began to enter into the city a day's journey.
So did that tell you the tenacity of a person that want to do the will of God? That he'll do something that took 3 days and 1 day. You talking about a fire that's in your bosom. Remember that song, Ma?
He don't want to go to that back there.
He don't want to go back to the belly of hell where he was at. He said, I'm going to do this in a day's journey, even though it may take 3 days' journey. So he had a renewed mind, a renewed spirit, a renewed everything. I'm going to make this journey that takes 3 days. In the day's journey, he was entering the city. Woo! I'm here. Powerful, ain't it?
Yes.
And he cried, just like the Father told him. He said, cry out to that city. Come on, what he do?
And said, yet 40 days and Nineveh shall be overthrown.
Can you imagine hearing that? And you a Ninevite? And like, huh? What do you mean? It's going to be destroyed. It's going to be overthrown. Come on.
Who can tell if God...
So what we know, what happened, we know that Jonah preached this, right? And the people responded to it. Come on.
Who can tell if God will turn and repent and turn away from his fierce anger that we perish not?
So they started repenting. They started getting ashes, sackcloth. They started really like saying, man, we got to change from our wicked way. Okay? Watch this.
And God saw their works, that they turned from their evil ways, and God repented of the evil that he had said that he would do unto them, and he did it not.
So he was going to overthrow the city, and because he saw their... So this is the key to let you know what the Father looks at. He's looking at what you're doing, not what you're saying. He's looking at what you're doing, not what you're saying. Yah saw their works, and he saw that they turned from their evil ways. So the Father said, okay, I can turn away from what I was going to do now because everything's been rectified. And all of this happened from a wicked, rebellious servant that he sent to do this the first time but didn't do it. They had to go all of this over here to happen to him. And at his word, the whole city is transformed. Y'all hearing this?
Yes.
Come on.
But it displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he was very angry.
Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Ain't that like us?
Yeah.
Look at them. You know what? He ain't going to overthrow them now.
Right.
But we get overthrown every time we disobey. Right? Can y'all see that playing out? Every time we do. Have y'all got a child to say, every time I do something wrong, daddy and mama always jumping on me.
But he get away.
But this one over here can do whatever they want. They don't never get talked to like that. Bible says he chastiseth the one whom he loves. So Israelites, Hebrews, you're going to have your butt spanked.
Yeah.
Because you're going to do the right thing. And you ought to thank the Father for it. But this displeased Jonah. So that throws out, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that paradigm that most people come from. Well, he loves everybody. Well, why was Jonah displeased? He just saved the whole city. Y'all see what I'm saying? But it